Morning, St. Andrews. My name is Dana, and it is so good to be with you this morning. I wanted to invite you into my home, into my kitchen here, as I am preparing some sourdough to be baked tomorrow morning. So, prepping this sourdough is quite the process, and it's currently 7:30 a.m. and this dough won't be baked until probably 6 a.m. tomorrow, is when I'll stick it in the oven. Now, I am not a sourdough expert by any means at all. I am one of those people that started this during quarantine, so definitely a bandwagon baker here. But strangely, baking sourdough has really taught me a lot about my walk with Christ and this way of Jesus that we have been studying in the sermons with Chap and other preachers over the last few weeks. Probably the biggest thing is how long a loaf of bread will sustain me. I will have a loaf of bread for like a week and eat it for almost every meal. It has significantly cut down my grocery shopping, which is interesting because sourdough is only made up of like 4 ingredients. It's water, salt, flour, and some of the starter. And out of those 4 ingredients is this loaf that can be a vehicle for avocado toast, for sandwiches, for pretty much anything that I like to eat. So it's been really interesting for me to acknowledge the simplicity of it, while at the same time there is a technique and there are really important qualities to the sourdough process that have to be taken. As I said before, it's simple in ingredients, but it's by no means simple in process. It's going to take me all day to stretch this dough, to let it rest again, and to shape it into what will become a really tasty loaf, if I do it right. Now I've got to switch gears and let this dough rest, also because I can't multitask well, so we'll see how this loaf turns out. Thankfully, it's still pretty early on. But I wanted to take a second and share with you some of the thoughts that I've had from this process around this God who we are in relationship with. And this process has given me this phrase that there's this elaborate simplicity to making sourdough bread. And to me, that concept just parallels so well to this life that we live with Christ and the life that Christ modeled for us and lived here on this earth. There is this elaborate simplicity. Now, the simplicity hits me because I often overestimate the ingredients required for a beautiful life, for a life that is fulfilling and full of joy and the way of Jesus. But sometimes I've realized that we have this God who can create amazing, beautiful things from way less than we expect that we need. And to give our God this space to move in the simple ingredients of life is not something I often carve out and am aware of. And then there's a sense, though, the elaborate process that is required. And thankfully, it is not us who perform this process. We have a God who, behind the scenes, oftentimes is stretching and is letting us rest, and is stretching us and letting us rest just at the right increments of time. Looking back, I can see so obviously how God has done that in my life at just the right times. And it really feels like almost He is a baker shaping this loaf, knows exactly what He's doing. And I'm so grateful in the retrospect. And so I am setting an intention as I move forward from this day, and I want to invite you along in that with me, St. Andrews, to simply put a trust in this God who works in elaborate simplicity. I don't need anything else for God to create a beautiful life, to create beauty out of the life that I'm currently living. Simple ingredients, but then this coupled with this trust that there is so much going on behind the scenes, and that the process is really in the hands of our Maker, and it's happening at just the right times. So thank you for joining me this morning, and may you go today in peace and trust of this God.